And say good evening, morning, midday, whatever it is for you, wherever you are. This is yoga, online yoga with Via, April 30th, 2020. We're going to start the way we always start, lying on your back and watching your breath. Just collecting your attention and bringing it into the room. If you have a thought at all, think about why you're here or how you feel about being here, something along those lines, rather than some sort of a disruptive thought, something that brings you closer to where you are. Or just paying attention to your breath. Or paying attention to the space between your breath. So instead of paying attention to the inhale or the exhale, pay attention to the space after the inhale and after the exhale, or before. Same thing. That's an interesting noise. I'm going to mute everybody. Go ahead and bring your hands behind your back. We're going to do a vagus nerve reset. When you do this early in a practice, it really sets the tone for the practice. It already creates less muscle tension for you. So hands behind the head. Dana says she likes to press her head into her hands when she does this. I usually say to people, just, your hands are there just to keep your head still. But you could try Dana's suggestion. And she says that's what creates the yawn. So go ahead and shift your eyes to the right, eyeballs to the right. Your eyes can be open or closed. Shift your eyes to the right and stay there and wait for a yawn, swallow, sigh, or gulp. And then come back to center and shift your eyes to the left. And wait again. Wait for an involuntary sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. And just take it easy. Don't strain your eyeballs when you shift them. Come back to center. And repeat. And one more time, one more set. And then stay here in this position. And let's do some work with the cervical spine. The first thing we're going to do is head ramping. Actually, this is a focus on C1, the top cervical spine, cervical vertebra and the spine. Just press your occipital ridge into your hands. And then release. And I'd like you to do this about 5 more times. Press. Feel the resistance. And then release. We're going to do this later in the class again, seated. So you'll get to get an idea of how available this pose is for you. Go ahead and remove your hands, and we're going to go ahead and do a what's called a C1 glide. So still staying with the same focus, the cervical spine. You're just going to nod your chin about 10 degrees forward, so, and then 10 degrees back. So back and forth. You could do this on your sponge ball. Colleen just held up her sponge ball, reminded me, you could do this on the sponge ball. And actually, I prefer it on the sponge ball, and I wish I had mentioned it. Or I'm glad that I mentioned it now. Because it creates a lot of safety here. Because there is some, danger is a strong word, but there's some, you want to be really careful when you're hyperextending, when you're taking your neck and your cervical spine backward. So the sponge ball actually helps with that. If you don't have a sponge ball, just be careful. You can be resting your head on your stack of washcloths. Back 10 degrees and forward. It's a glide. Back and forth. And because we're here, and because you can, just go ahead and look left and look right. Just a little rotation. Again, I really like this on the sponge ball. This looking over the shoulder movement, that happens when you're driving, when you're trying to look back behind you. We lose this a lot of times as we get older. Come on back and lie on your side. We're going to do side lying hypopressives. I really like these because they allow you to breathe into the back of the lungs. So lying on your side, you can bend your knees a little bit, stack your shoulders, stack your hips, stack your knees, stack your ankles. Take three breaths. These breaths, I'd like you to focus on breathing into the back of your lungs. Nice full breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. At the end of this exhale, no breath. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and exhale. And then we're going to do that again on this side, and then we'll flip to the other side. So take 3 breaths. Inhale. Remember to breathe into the back of your lungs. And inhale again. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hold your breath out. No breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go ahead and release. Inhale, exhale. And flip to the other side of your mat. Let me say that if you've located your screen so that you look in the screen and you can see your body on the floor, it's possible I would check in on you to see how you're doing. But if your screen doesn't show your activity, then I won't be able to do that. So you're on the other side, like Kathy. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale into the back of your lungs especially. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Hold your breath out, no breath. It's like a fake inhale. There's no breath there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and exhale. And one more. Three breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hold your breath out. No breath. 1, 2, 3. Stop when you need to. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, everybody. Go ahead and come up to standing. We're going to do some balancing work on the feet, on one leg. Come up to standing and be near a wall or a stable, something stable that you could touch or hold on to if you needed to. We're going to start balance with 3 variations of balancing on one foot or one leg. And I'm going to time 30 seconds. We're going to do this in 30-second. We're going to try for 30 seconds. Remember, you can stop if you need to. You can touch your wall if you need to. So your feet are pointing forward. And then stand on your right leg and lift your left leg. I want you to this time lift it up. Just bend your knee in front of you, Kathy. This is new to you. New. So just know that there are lots of ways to balance. Usually I have people tuck their foot behind their ankle, but now I'm asking you this and I didn't start. Let's come down again and we'll start again, sorry. I want to start timing. So go ahead and lift your left leg up and just have it a bent knee in front of you. We're going to try to be here for 30 seconds. If you can, do it without holding on to anything or touching anything. We're half done. And done. Take a nice breath, transitional breath, and switch sides. So remember, you're going to just bring your knee up in front of you. And I'm going to start timing. 30 seconds or less. When you're in your home practice, you can practice more than 30 seconds. And that's part of the advanced practice is to just do this longer and longer. Although there will be some other things we could do as well. And 30 seconds. We're going to do it again, but this time with your leg up, with your one leg up, you're going to look left and look right and keep doing that slowly while we try for 30 seconds. Remember, you can stop early. That's the practice. And that's, this is a practice. It's not a competition. But this kind of balancing work, which seems very simple, is actually very profound. So stand on your right leg, lift your left knee up, and while you're here, I'm going to start the timer, 30 seconds. Just slowly look to the right and look to the left. And take it easy and don't let your looking left and right knock you over. Slowly looking left and looking right. You should feel your core work here. Feel your core engage. Go ahead and come down, switch sides. Stand on your left leg, lift your right knee forward. Start slowly looking left over your left shoulder and your right shoulder. And if this is not available to you yet, then go back to simply lifting one leg. And that's done. 30 seconds there. Good job. We're going to do one more. Only we're going to do it for 5 seconds because I'm going to ask you to stand on one leg and close your eyes. This is this can, you have an internal balance mechanism that's going to help you out, but you think, nope, nothing's going to help you out. So, so go ahead and lift, and I'll start timing for 5 seconds. Close your eyes, and done. That's easy. And go ahead and flip to the other side. And go ahead, lift one leg. And I'm going to start the timer. Close your eyes. Well, it's a good thing. So 5 seconds. So that was good job, everybody. All of those are pretty easy, but they really help with balance, which is one of the things that happens is we actually start to lose our sense of balance as we get older, or if we are injured. I mean, there are a number of other reasons too, but it's almost guaranteed unless you do a practice like this. So we're going to go ahead and find a brick, a yoga block, or a thick book, or a blanket, although actually a blanket would be harder, would create more instability. But if you don't have a brick, I recommend getting a thick 4-inch yoga block, or 2, actually a pair. Pairs are good because then you can use them in pairs. So Kathy's going to stand on her brick near the wall because this is a balancing act. We're going to do a leg pendulum, which really opens the hips. And it's lovely, and you can stand on a curb and do this, or stand on the stairs and do this. And just allow the leg, the loose leg, to swing. You're not really forcing a movement. It's more like just allowing the leg itself to explore the additional space it has because you're standing on a brick and you've created more space for your hip, for your femur to move in the socket. Just it wiggles, it dangles and wiggles. We're going to stay on this side, 2 more moves before we flip to the other side. The next thing is just a hip hike. So put your hands at the top, your thumb or your hand at the top, at your waist, at the top of your pelvis, and then hike up. So hike up, the right side hikes, and then it lowers. Hike and lower, and hike and lower. And this is actually a really good movement for lower back and hip issues. These two moves are really good for creating more balance and more stability in the hip. And then go ahead and cross your right ankle over your left ankle. And we're going to do a side bend. Just take your arm, the outside arm, up and over your head towards the wall, and palm facing the wall. And go as far as you can go. And if your palm can touch the wall, that's even better. And then if your you can take both hands, fingers facing each other, palms on the wall, and spread the paint. I mean, that's like the most advanced version of this, is if you can get both hands on the wall. You won't, not everybody will be able to do this. And then spread the paint so you can feel some arm work while you're side bending. Actually, Jill Miller, Yoga Tune-Up, calls this boomerang. It's a really nice version of a side bend. And go ahead and come back and flip to the other side, and we'll do this whole series, this whole triplet series. On the other side, stand on your brick. Dangle your leg, the free leg, Just allow it to explore the space, the extra space that you've created for it. If you have hip pain, this movement alone might make a big difference. And then go ahead and hip hikes. So go ahead and put your hand on your waist, if that helps. And then the pelvis comes up towards the armpit. Mm-hmm. And then the last move we're going to do is a side bend. Cross your ankle, your left ankle this time, or your opposite ankle, over the other ankle, and arm up and over the head, overhead arm, comes up and over onto the wall, if you can get that much. And then if you want to, you can take your bottom arm also, fingers pointing up, palms on the wall. And after that, if you can get there, spread, act as if you're spreading paint with your fingers. Just all little additions to the side bend. Come on back. We're going to do a 3 more standing poses and then go to seated. The first one is going to be standing on your half round, or if you don't have a half round, a 3-inch brick, the narrower brick, or you could stand on a blanket or a stack of towels. But I love the half round. So this is a 3-way ankle stretch. It's my most profound, I think the most profound way to work on ankle flexibility and strength, actually. Kathy's going to keep her heel on the floor, but the bottom of the forefoot is on the top of the round, the half round. And from there, starting to flex her ankle. So she's going to bring her ankle forward, straight forward, over the front of her foot. The knee will follow, but the knee is not the main mover here. So do that about 6 times. Flex and go back and flex. Flex. And then for the next 6 times, do your flexion, ankle flexion, towards the inside of the foot. So it's just a little different. It's still forward, but forward and to the inside. And this is what's going to create more range of motion in your ankles, actually, is doing it in these 2 different directions besides straight forward. So to the inside and it's a movement forward. So make sure that that's happening. And the knee will bend because of the ankle flexion. And get as deep as you can go. and then come back to neutral, and then go to a flexion that is forward, but then towards the outside of the foot. This movement alone can change your life. Actually, a lot of the movements I introduce here are life-changing. In my opinion, that's why I choose them. But getting this much attention, giving this much attention and care to the ankle is a big deal. For the ankles and for you, because the ankles and the feet are your foundation. Go ahead and switch to the other side, the other ankle. Straightforward first, forward flexion of the ankle. The knee follows. If you don't have a half round, you can do this on something else that raises your foot up, the forefoot up. Anything that raises the forefoot up. And after you've done about 6 forward, then 6 forward into the inside of your foot. So I just read an article, I was telling people about it last class, that these ballet dancers who had been doing long-held calf stretches, this is definitely a calf stretch, they kept holding for a long time. When they started doing just small calf stretches and repeating like this, something like this, the injuries, the calf injuries were reduced. So the article actually did not recommend long stretches, long-held stretches, rather repeated short stretches. And go ahead and come, let's see, we've done forward, go to the inside. Have we done the inside? I lost track.
We did the inside, we need to do the outside.
Okay, let's do the outside. Good. I was thinking to myself, you know, I'm certified in yin yoga, which is a long-held stretch practice, and I don't do that anymore because of that very thing, that I think little stretches repeated are better than long stretches held. It's a very relaxing practice, but I think in terms of benefit, I think you get more benefit here. Whenever you're finished with about 6 of those, go find a hard bottom chair that you can sit in for a few movements. The first thing we're going to do is seated squats. So Kathy's not going to need her brick for that. She might need something later, but I don't think she is. Remember when you had that book instead of the block?
Yeah.
I think that would be better, because Kathy has short legs. I mean, her leg, you know, the between her knees and her ankles are shorter than her chair, basically. And so every chair is different, and every body is different. So you're going to try there. See, that looks much better. But bring your book back a little bit because I'm going to ask you to do seated squats. And seated squats are very interesting, and you could do 5 of these before you ever sat down in a chair. It would actually be of great benefit. So all you're going to do is come up off your chair. So lean forward a little bit, come up, and then drop back, drop your hips back, and sit down. Now, Kathy you may want to bring your chair a little closer. I'm not sure. You need to feel safe, because what I'm asking you to do is do this 5 times. Coming up, using your core and your quads, and then coming back down, dropping your butt into the chair. And you could do this even without actually being seated. You could just come and hover. And then come on up, back up. And hover. The trick is to do, to keep your knees over your ankles and your butt back. And you can choose whether you're just going to hover or whether you're going to sit. Either way, you're going to engage your core and your quads as you come back up and as you go back down. And then come on, sit down. We're going to do a flat back hip hinge from a seated position. So remember that you're focusing on a hinge at the head of the femur and where it fits into the pelvis, the acetabulum, which is a little dent in the pelvis. And your spine does not move. I mean, it moves forward like a broomstick, but it doesn't round. So it's a flat back hip hinge. So coming forward, nice, and then returning to a seated position, feeling the use of your core, feeling the nice lower back stretch you get here. And you're practicing, this is a good posture pose. And then come back up. And flat back hip hinge. Come back up, feel your core working. One more time before we do something a little different. Come back up. Now come back down, flat back hip hinge. And this is basically a chair child's pose. When you get down here, just round a little bit. So you're rounding your face and your arms a little forward, flopping over your thighs. If this is uncomfortable, you could put a pillow or a blanket between your chest and your thighs. But this is a very long curve. So you have rounded your back at this point, but you can see from Kathy, it's not very rounded. And this is also a really nice, this is basically a seated child's pose. Just stay here and rest. Come back up slowly, unrounding your back, and then flat back all the way to return. And find a yoga strap, or Kathy has a robe strap from her bathrobe. You could use a karate strap. We're gonna do, and you can have your chair face forward. If you don't have a strap, I recommend getting a shirt that has a long sleeve and kind of using that as your strap. This is a great shoulder series. So put your strap in your hands about out in front of you at your knees, so at your lap. About don't roll them up like that because you're gonna want to let it release it later, come farther out. So first you start with your hands about hip distance apart on your knees, and then you bring it up overhead, and you need to have room to bring it back as well. And you may, as you come back, don't go to the side, Kathy, go straight back. This is the first move is straight back. So you may need, first of all, you need space behind you. So you start up, 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 and then back, back, back. As you go back, you may want to widen your strap. You'll have to widen your strap to give you that. This is a lovely, lovely shoulder opener. So go back as far as you can, and then come back up and cinch it in again as you come back to your knees. So do this movement, starting at the knees, up, up in front of you, overhead, and then you may want to release the strap, get it longer so that you can take it back. And then it becomes a nice chest opener. Can you feel that? And some people won't be able to get very far. It depends on your own shoulders. Come on back up overhead, and then cinch it in when you're overhead and come forward. Inhale, up and over, up. Release the strap a little bit, let it get longer so that you can take it behind you. And get a big shoulder opener. Come on back. Up you go. So using your breath, inhaling, overhead arms. This is an overhead arms movement. Supported and enhanced by a strap. And come on back. And then bring your arms up overhead again. We're going to do a side bend using the strap. And just go ahead and make the strap a little wider. And then keep your hips and your pelvis on the chair and side bend with your strap. Side bend to one side and then the other side. You could do this as these 3 moves for the shoulders with a strap. You could do this standing also. So it's just another basic side bend. And the last one we're going to do, you're going to come back up to the top, and then you're going to drop your right hand and keep your left hand up in the air. So the right hand goes behind you. This is a little trickier. The right hand goes down behind you, yes, and then it comes back. You bring it back up. Do the other side. Left arm, right arm up, left arm down. Don't bend your elbow, Kathy. The upper arm is straight up, and then the lower arm is drop. You may want more slack on your strap. You're dropping the other arm right behind you. This is called shoulder flossing. Come on back. And other side. Up, upper arm, straight up. The other arm is behind you. Just stay here and breathe. And then repeat it. So repeat it a couple more times, going from one side to the other, flossing one shoulder and then the other. This movement is not really available, or is not as effective without a strap. So this is one of the reasons I would have you invest in a strap. Not very much money. I know you're saying she always says that. But this is, the strap is, I don't know, a couple of dollars, I think. Or you can go to like well, I don't know whether Goodwill is open anymore, but I used to be able to get karate straps, the same thing. And they're, you know, like 50 cents or something. So remember, you're creating tension. This is why this would not be good with a stretchy strap. You're creating tension on your strap. And that's what's guiding the move. Come on back. Bring your hands to your heart. Let go of your strap. Bring your hands to your, bring your palms together and your fingers touching your chin. We're going to do a spine twist here. Little one. My favorite one these days, the very littlest. Just go ahead and the chin is touching the top fingertips of your prayer pose. And then you just turn your rib cage to one side and then come back and turn it to the other side. And see if, see how far you can go. Does it get, go slow. Does it get your range of motion here get bigger as you repeat? And come on back, put your hands behind your head ramping seated. I just wanted to show you that this is available to you. You do the same movement we did when we were supine on our backs, and then just press the occipital ridge into your hands, and then release, and press again. So sit tall. The plus for this is that you can also be, you should be also doing this with good posture. So seated, stacked, spine, and joints. And do one more of those, and then come down to your back for closing Yoga Nidra. I am going to, you want to be sure you're warm and comfortable. I'm going to stop my video and walk you through with my voice the 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation. I'm going to mention various body parts and points, and you're going to move your attention between those points without moving the body itself. Your legs can be extended or your knees bent. Starting with attention to breath, breathing in and breathing out, and observing your abdomen as it rises and falls. And now bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right big thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, left elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, right knee, ankle, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, left knee, ankle, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes our 61-point guided meditation. Go ahead and start to pay attention to your breath. Return to your breath. Extend your legs, wiggle, bring your arms overhead by your ears, and then start to stretch in both directions. Creating a little space, but more space between your rib cage and your pelvis. Wiggle and stretch one side and then the other. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Go ahead and hug your right knee to your chest and then your left. And then rock both knees from side to side. Nice stretch of the lower back, the hips. And roll to one side, up towards the camera. Bring your bottom arm up, bend the elbow and rest your head there. This is a great way to get up off the floor, probably the safest way, but you don't want to do it too fast. Whenever you're ready, put your top hand on the floor and push away from the floor to bring yourself up into your favorite floor-seated position. I'm going to unmute everybody. And I'm going to unpin Kathy. So if you guys are on gallery view, if you've toggled to gallery view, we should all be able to see each other, but I think you have to do that. I can't do all of that for you. We're going to close the class, just like we always do. Bring your hands together, prayer pose, and dropping the nodding or bobbling the occipital ridge, the skull over the top first cervical vertebra. And we'll close the class by saying to each other, Namaste.
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 Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
All right.
I'm going to stick around. I'm going to stop the recording.